Celtic fan, buckle up, because we've got massive news coming out of Paradise. From Martin O'Neill being told it's time to step aside, to a shock call for a player Brendan Rodgers didn't fancy to come straight back and wait till you hear who could be the next man in the dugout. It's wild, so stick around till the very end. We have 6 news a day to keep you updated with the mighty Celtic. Hit that subscribe button and be part of it. Let's have a wee chat about this one, because there's a bit of noise swirling round Paradise again, and not just from the wind blowing through the East End. Chris Sutton's been out speaking his mind, and you know what he's like, never shy of giving his old boss a nudge. He's come out and said, with his hand on his heart, that Martin O'Neill should bow out after the Kilmarnock match this Sunday. Now, don't get me wrong, Sutton's not throwing shade, he's showing respect. He's saying it because he loves the man, because he knows what Martin means to the Celtic family, but he also thinks it's time for the club to make that big call, to stop drifting and get a fresh face in to drive the next chapter forward. And look, I get it. Martin O'Neill came back when we needed someone to steady the ship, and he's done exactly that. He gave us that 4-0 win over Falkirk, took care of the Rangers, and wasn't that beautiful, by the way? And even though Michelin gave us a sore one in Europe, you can't deny the lift he's brought. The man answered the call from Dermot Desmond faster than you could order a pint at the Brazen Head, had about 10 minutes to decide, and said, aye, let's go again. That's heart, that's loyalty, that's pure Celtic spirit. Now, the chat from Sutton is that the club needs to move quickly during the international break, that we need a plan, a younger gaffer with fresh ideas, someone to carry the torch forward. And you know what? He's not wrong. Martin said himself he's here for the long haul. He's done his bit, brought calm and passion back into the dressing room, and now maybe it's time to pass the baton before we get too comfortable. But here's the thing, mate. You and I both know what Martin O'Neill means to this club. He's the kind of man who walks into a room and the walls start humming with history. The thought of him walking away again, a bit like seeing your da hang up the boots for good. You can't help but feel proud, but there's that lump in your throat too. So here's my wee question for you, and I want you to think about it, really think. Should Martin O'Neill step aside after Kilmarnock and let someone new take the reins, or should the club let him carry on a bit longer to finish what he's started? Because I tell you what, if you ask me, I would love to see him walk off to a standing ovation at Paradise on Sunday, the crowd roaring his name one last time. But part of me deep down wouldn't mind one more run under the great man. What do you reckon, mate? Hit that subscribe button, lads. Let's go at Loldy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic dafts. Here's one that'll make ye scratch your hide. Maik Nawrocki, the big Polish centre-back who Brendan Rodgers apparently didn't fancy, is being shouted about from the terraces. As a player, Martin O'Neill should drag back from his loan at Hanover 96 straight away. Nawrocki's been out in Germany trying to get minutes after being shipped off, but folk like Frank McAvenny, who knows a thing or two about pulling on the green and white, say the lad never put a foot wrong when he wore the hoops. That's a ringing endorsement, and you can feel the sense of injustice. A Celtic player handed away by a manager who simply didn't like him. Look, Nawrocki's a physical presence, a Polish international with 8 appearances for Celtic where he looked solid, calm, and honest. You don't see that kind of reliability every week. McAvenny's baffled that Rodgers couldn't see it, claiming it was down to little managerial preferences like which foot each player favors, and he's urged O'Neill to recall him immediately. Tony Cottee backed that up too, pointing out how sometimes players fall foul of managers rather than being judged on pure ability. That's football for you. A wee spat with the boss, and suddenly you're off on loan to Germany. Now, Nawrocki's still under contract at Parkhead until May 2028, so the club own his future. That gives Celtic a bit of breathing space, but it also means decisions need to be wise. With injuries biting and the schedule like a relentless Scottish gale, why wouldn't you bring back an asset who's proven he can do a job for the club. We've seen youngsters like Johnny Kenny and Callum Osmond rise and make us proud. Maybe Nawrocki's another who could step up if given the chance. It's not about sentiment here, it's about using what your own club already has. And let's be frank, if Rodgers left him out because of a minor quirk, that says more about Rodgers than it does about the player. Celtic needs steel at the back, not personal preferences. If O'Neill or the coaching staff have half an eye on the loan book, they might just find a ready-made solution sitting in Hanover's squad, pull him back, give him a look in, and if he's the player McAvenny remembers, he'll slot in like he's never been away. So here's the one I want to throw straight at you, Annie, and I want an honest answer from every single Celtic fan. Should O'Neill recall Nawrocki immediately and slap him into the squad, or leave him gaining experience abroad until summer? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's jai it. Lealdy till we hit 1500 mad. Celtic Dafts. Now, this one's got folk in Glasgow talking, eh? Efrain Juarez, the same Juarez who once wore the hoops, could actually make a shock return to paradise. But this time, not as a player, as the new gaffer. And here's the real kicker. There's a unique clause in his current contract that might just make it possible without costing Celtic a single penny in compensation. That's right, a move that could make Dermot Desmond's accountants happier than a Celtic fan after a derby win. Juarez is only 37, but don't let that number fool you. The lad's been around from assistant gigs under Ronnie Daler at New York City, Standard Liège and Club Brugge, to lifting a league and cup double with Atlético Nacional in Colombia. Now he's over in Mexico managing UNAM Pumas, and by the sound of it, Celtic could trigger this wee clause that lets any European club approach him for free. And let's be honest, if there's a chance to get a promising young manager without a transfer tug-of-war or another pile of legal nonsense, that's a deal worth jumping on quicker than the Blues crying about a refereeing decision. Now, think about this for a second. Juarez's managerial records, not too shabby at 60 games, nearly half of them wins, and already some silverware to show for it. He knows what pressure feels like. He's dealt with massive expectations, and most importantly, he gets Celtic. He's felt that roar inside Parkhead. He knows what it's like when paradise is bouncing, and he knows how demanding and beautiful this job can be. He's young, ambitious, speaks the language of modern football, and has a winning mentality forged outside the cushy comfort of the big European leagues. And after Martin O'Neill steadied the ship, maybe that's exactly what's needed now. Someone fresh, driven, and fearless enough to bring new life into the dressing room. Plus, the connection to Celtic could make him instantly relatable to the squad and the support. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's a risk. Celtic's a giant of a club with expectations heavier than the rain clouds over Suckyhole Street in November. Juarez might have the ideas, but can he handle the sheer scale of paradise, the pressure, and the rivalry with those across the city who crumble the minute we start flying? So here's the big one for you. If you had the power today, would you take the risk and bring Juarez back as manager, or hold out for a bigger name? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's guy it laldi till we hit 1500 mad Celtic daffs.